talk about periods. It was epic because she said we are the sun. We rise every morning, filled up
I saw
with testosterone.
Yeah.
Right? You're like especially me in the morning, I'm like
ready to rock.
Yeah, dick's hard, and like I'm just like I can work.
Yeah.
I want to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good.
Me
and
too.
like at night I'm like, bro, like I'm done. Like I wanna hang out with my wife. I wanna enjoy.
Chill.
I don't wanna like move anything or lift anything anymore. Like I'm done. And then she said the women are like the moon.
Right.
But
like
they're not.
21 day.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have that
saw
cycle.
That
yeah. They have the 28-day cycle where
28 days.
where they're completely different sometime. And if you understand her cycle, you'll have much more feeling, and like you'll be much easier to navigate the female psyche kind of.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I saw that clip. I thought it was a great clip. And it was funny because I've seen a few things like that, and then your clip popped up with her.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Alive Water. Let's be honest, most of you are obsessing over supplements, but you're still drinking dead, overprocessed tap water out of plastic. That makes no sense. Alive Water is real spring water, mineral-rich, untouched, sourced straight from nature and delivered right to your door in reusable glass. Nothing stripped, nothing added, no plastic toxins. This is hydration the way your body actually recognizes. We switched and you can literally taste the difference. More minerals, cleaner, sharper. If you care about performance, recovery, hormones, energy, start with the thing that you consume the most. Go to alivewaters.com and use code CANDY for 33% off. That's 33% off with code CANDY. Stop drinking dead water. This episode is brought to you by Crowd Health. Let's talk about the biggest scam in America, health insurance. You pay insane monthly premiums just to beg for permission when you actually need care. It's backwards. Crowd Health flips the entire system. No networks, no middlemen, no corporate nonsense. It's peer-to-peer healthcare platform that helps you find great doctors, negotiate your bills, and fund those bills through a community for way less than traditional insurance. More freedom, more transparency, more controlled. If you're self-employed, building a business, or just tired of the system owning your health, this is your exit. Go to joincrowdhealth.com and use code CANDY for a 3-month discount. That is joincrowdhealth.com, code CANDY. Stop funding the machine, start owning your healthcare.
So, yeah, it's definitely, I mean, my wife is definitely tuned into her cycle in a way that has brought me into it. And I get to see and understand what she's going through, her emotional patterns and rhythms in that cycle. That's much different than anything I've ever experienced, really. So it's very interesting, and I think it's great information as men to have.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I would like. It's not a thing that only women need to. They have like intentionally. I think they know, anyways.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of things where you're not in touch with your body, but if you're like a intentional woman, I think you kind of know your cycle, what you're going through. But as a man, you have no idea. Like you're like, this is like, I have like what that feels like. Every month.
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, we don't ever think about it until you start to think about it.
And then you recognize the patterns. Like every month, there's a period where like she wants to be with her mom.
Yeah.
Or she wants to travel and conquer the world and go on vacation, and you recognize that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a moment where she wants to just rest and be chill, and
And for us, we're like the rock, every day the same.
Yeah.
Wake up and rise.
Yeah. I think it's awesome, man. That's are we recording already?
Yeah.
We're already rolling, brother.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Dude, it's great to be here with you, man. And you have such a wonderful family. I love it, man. I love seeing you and how you've just continued to grow as a man and getting to hang out with you and getting to know you. I love it, man. So I'm glad to be here, dude.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Seeing you on the plane, I felt like was a much needed reconnection.
I agree.
was flying back to Austin from LA, and I'm like, dude, that's Candy Ken. You know, and you had your wife and your two boys, and I was like, dude, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I got up, walked down the aisle, and you were there with your boys.
Yeah.
It was great, dude. It was great to reconnect with you, man, and get to do this, and I'd like to keep this friendship rolling, you know? Because, you know, like we were talking about earlier, as wonderful as LA is, well, let's back up. LA has a lot to offer, a lot of good things about it, honestly. I mean, I grew up here. I got nothing but love for LA. Politically and economically, it feels like a bit of a disaster, but this is a sacred place. It's hard to make friends here. It's hard to have a community here. So when you find guys that you really vibe with, that you really fuck with as men, it's so important for us to have brothers, dude. So important. I'm a part of a number of men's groups, and it's so enlivening. It stokes the fire in a way that hanging out with women just doesn't do. You know, you get to grapple even just psychologically with your brothers, like see what guys are doing, and especially, you know, it's sort of cliche in this day and age, but thinking about the men and the people that you're surrounding yourself with, and when you surround yourself with guys who are doing things with their lives, doesn't mean that they're a millionaire or super successful businessman, but they have purpose. They live with purpose. They live with intention. They're moving forward. That lifts you up as a man, and it shines a light. It's a mirror to where you're at and what you're doing with your life. And I look at you as a guy who's really taking steps forward always and looking to improve and expand yourself. And that's really important to be around. And when I come to LA, you know, it's my own thing. I think as men, we have, if we're not actively going out to connect, we're isolating ourselves. And when we isolate, it's not a good thing for anybody, you know? So I know I've definitely done that to a fault. And it's something that I'm actively working on breaking out of, is getting connected with dudes that I really fuck with, admire, who inspire me, and spending more time with them. So I'm really glad we've reconnected, dude.
I think that's the problem I have in LA.
Yeah.
I feel so lonely.
I know, man. I get it.
Yeah. I feel like alone. And like what you said, bro, what you surround yourself with is you adjust quick to your surroundings. And like I rather a lot of times choose to be alone than to be with like LA, like stereotypical men, because it's just not what I really like thrive for.
Yeah.
Like, it's like what you said, like they might be successful in business, but they've lost purpose in every other aspect. Like if it comes to like children or family values or hunting values or just like holding yourself as a man, where it's too soft for me. And like when I go to Texas, I'm like, I feel connected to men there, way different.
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing, isn't it? Because I was talking to a client yesterday. He was talking about his relationship with his father and thinking about his own masculinity. And he said, I feel like masculinity is a flower that needs the right nutrients to blossom. And I thought that was an interesting idea, but for me, I think masculinity is more something it's a natural instinct. It's a natural energy that's infused in men, that really what needs to happen is all the other shit needs to be chipped away so that it can fully reveal itself. And I think in the West, in particular, the liberal ethos, which I hate to get political because it's so myopic, but the liberal ethos, for whatever reason, has degraded masculinity into this thing that we want to shun and we want to get away from. And so it layers on all of this shame and guilt onto the man. And it takes time. And you're a great example of this, dude. Like the first pod we did, what was that, like 3 years ago?
I think so. Maybe 2.
You were going through this whole renaissance as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a provider for your people. Your wife was pregnant with your second boy. Like you were, and we'd come out of COVID and you had this whole experience with that. And you were realizing all these lies that you had bought into. And I had gone through a similar thing. Where I started to just question the culture that I was living in and the ideas that I had bought into about my own masculinity and myself as a man and manhood and what it meant. And for me, it's something that just lives and breathes in everything I do, my masculinity. It's showing up for my people. It's a small thing and it's a big thing. It happens moment by moment, and it happens on this really grand scale too, like you're talking about. You can go hunt the fucking stag, and you can, know what your woman needs on a day-to-day basis to feel loved and cherished. And it just arrives, because people look at me. I've had an interesting experience lately on a few podcasts where the interviewer says to me, Eb, you just look like what a man is supposed to be.
How does that make you feel?
And how you carry yourself. And I feel like, wow, I don't know if there's a bigger honor that I've ever felt than to hear that from guys that I respect, And they asked me, what is it? Like, how do you do it? And I'm just like, I'm just being, I'm just being me. And I come in this super hyper masculine alpha male frame, physical body. But inside, there's a really feminine spirit in here that loves music and dance and art and expression and wildness. Like, that's really in here too, man. And I let that breathe. I teach yoga. I do a ton of yoga. I do breath work. I meditate. I do all of these things that might be deemed as sort of feminine exercises, but they infuse this energy into who I am that for me expresses itself as a deep rooted masculinity, because masculinity is just being the mountain. It's being totally present, totally in the moment, totally comfortable in your own skin. You walk into a room and you don't feel, you're not going like this. You walk into the room with your chest out and your shoulders back, and you know who the fuck you are. You look everybody in the eye. You shake everybody's hand. Doesn't matter their political bent or what they look like on the outside. You're a man and you're in total command of that. You have utter confidence. To me, like, that's masculinity showing up. And what does that do? That makes everybody around you feel safe. That's masculinity. It's not some thing that we do, And I think where the modern man has lost that is we've succumbed to a lot of this fucking cultural shame. And so we get like this. We go, okay, I'll just do whatever you want me to do. Just tell me what to do. Tell me where to go. Yes, wife. Yes. Okay, good. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't listen to our wives and we don't respect them utterly and deeply, because that's part of it too, and cherish them. But we're not going around the world with this energy. You know what I mean? Shrunken, closed in, isolated, doubtful, ashamed. That's not masculinity. Masculinity is being the leader and being totally loving and connected at all times. And to me, it's not really a thing. That's an energy. That's a spirit that lives within all men. And it's like we just have to chisel away the fucking bullshit to let it breathe and let it expand. I don't know if that made sense, but...
Well, for me, I think it's why you are like masculinity, or to a lot of men, and I guess me too, is because it's capability. You're not your strength and power, but you do not need to use it. And that's where true masculinity lays, is when you have the sword, but you're not using it. You're only using it if you have to, and that makes me and everybody around you comfortably, because I know if something happens, shit goes down, you're there.
Yeah.
And you have that power. And it comes like down to like nature's instinct, like even to protect your family, your kids, your wife. You have that anger ready to be used for good, but you are in peace.
Yeah.
And you treat everybody with respect and with peace. But if shit goes down, you'll strike.
Yeah, you're ready.
And the opposite of masculinity is you will not strike. If shit goes down, the millionaire will run, kind of.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like
100%.
And that's where physical, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Even though we live in a world where like you don't need it, I guess, but it makes me feel different if you are in a room or if you're not in a room, right? It makes me feel different if I can grab my kids and run or not, kind of.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So
and you're so ultra masculine because you're fucking huge and big, right? Even though you're not using it, but you could use it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
You could fuck someone up.
That's true.
That's important.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're not using it. I think that's really where masculinity lays, is in the capability. But
I love that.
Yeah, but you're only, because otherwise you're a coward. If you don't train, if you're weak, and that comes from mental weakness too, right? Your mental weakness goes over to your physical weakness.
Totally.
And now you're just like, I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to be around you. You drag me down.
Yeah.
Especially other men, right? If there's 50 men around you doing push-ups, you're like, what the like, I feel like I should be doing that too. Like I cannot watch other men work out and stand there.
No.
I can't take it. It bothers me.
Yeah.
It deeply bothers me. So, like, to sit next to someone who exercises, and like, I think that is where true masculinity is a big part of that.
I love it, man. I think you're totally right on. You're totally right on, because
you're not a violent man. That is where the true power lays. But you could be
100%.
But you need. Jordan Peterson says if you have if you cannot be violent, then you're like a coward. You're not. To do good requires strength. If you want to do good in the world, you have to be strong. If you're not strong, you're part of the problem, kind of, because then you're part. You because to fight evil, you have to be strong.
Yeah.
And there's so much evil in the world that if you're not mentally and physically strong, then you're a coward.
It's a great point. It's a great point. I think you're totally right.
And masculinity is not like a flower that you have to fucking water.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a wolf
I think
that you have to feed meat, but not a fucking flower.
Yeah, I agree.
And everything you said about femininity is not, I don't know, man. I think that's part of masculinity too. Like, why can a man not do yoga?
Yeah.
Like, fuck out of here. That's not my feminine side.
Well, it's true. I mean, yoga was started by men.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it requires extreme mental strength to do, like, yoga poses is hard as hell.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
And then, like, everything that's beautiful is, like, feminine now, right? I think that's also, like, bullshit.
Yeah, I love that. Dude.
Yeah.
I love that. I think you're totally right. I mean, what you're talking about to me is that's the being in the dojo, developing masculinity. You have to do that because so much of masculinity is preparedness. everything I talked about, that confidence entering a room, that ability to stand up tall with your chest out, looking people in the eye, it's because you're battle tested.
You've done the work.
You've done the work, right?
Right.
If you haven't done the work, you're unprepared. So I think what you're describing is a really important addendum to this definition that we're attempting to lay out here of what masculinity is, because a big part of it for men is physical preparedness, which comes with mental preparedness, because all through the physical strain, you're preparing yourself mentally. You're developing your mental strength. I think it's a really important piece of it. And something that maybe I overlook because it's just part of who I am, doing that stuff since I was a kid. You know, I've been working with my daughter. She's playing club volleyball, and something I really want to help her develop is this killer instinct. Like this mentality, when you step on the court, you're just going to fucking dominate the person that's across from you, you know? And she's getting there. And I've watched her have moments of experiencing it. And yesterday we were training and I was working with her. We did a pretty epic leg day and working on some explosion exercises and box jumps and plyometrics, and I'm just preaching this to her. It's like, what if somebody hurt your dogs? How are you going to go after them? How are you going to attack that person? Like, you're going to bring that energy so that when you step on the court, the girls across from you are looking at you going, I do not want that shit. I'm scared of that person. You know, that's the energy you want as an athlete. In any sport, you want people to be like, holy fuck, that dude is a fucking lion. And I was telling her, you know, when I was her age, I was in 8th grade, and my mom got me with this strength coach. Dude, he'd have me on the field running sprints until I was throwing up at 12 years old. You know, I've been in the fire of training and preparing my body for 26, 27 years. You know, and I think that's a really important thing. I mean, you know, as a man, anybody, you know, and it doesn't matter when you start, really. It can happen anytime. But I take it for granted because it's just who I am and what I do for as long as I can remember, really. But I think that's a really important piece of it, to know how to handle yourself, know how to handle difficult situations is a massive part of the masculinity. I like the idea of masculinity as a wolf that needs to be fed meat, you know. It needs to kill, too. It needs to feel the rush of the hunt and getting something that's worth having. And that comes with doing hard shit. And I think, you know, the main problem is just that too many men have been cultured in a society that's trying to say that they're evil or toxic for being men, just for existing, you know, and you need to be ashamed of yourself. That's not helping us, dude. It's just not. And, you know, you see these, you know, guys. We both know guys, know a lot of, I think there's a renaissance of manhood happening, renaissance of masculinity, where men are rising up and taking hold of what it means to be a man in a really powerful way. You know, so anyway.
Maybe the gym is like it's the last hardship that a man can do these days.
Well, I think there's a lot of hard shit, but it's a great one for the day to day.
Like a physical,
you know?
part.
Yeah, the gym is a great microdose.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we can, you know, let's fucking find the buddy that hunts and say, hey man, can I come on a hunt with you and do that? You can do the fucking marathon, the Ironman, the high, or whatever. Like, there's a million things I think that are macro dose hard things, but I think as far as something that you can go to every day to sharpen the sword, I don't think there's anywhere better than the gym, moving heavy weights, or a super hot yoga class.
Cold plunge.
Yeah.
But like back in the days, like I would hunt my food, right?
Yeah.
Or I would go to war.
Yeah.
Or I would have to like...
Or you'd swing a hammer and you'd be a fucking blacksmith making swords and shit and armor.
Yeah.
You know,
something
hard
like that.
Physical labor.
These days I train my thumb, right? These are the modern men, right?
Yeah.
And that is not satisfying to us. No matter how much money you make.
It's soul suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally soul
And as a creator, I mean, where I make like my living like this.
Yeah.
You have to manufacture the war.
Yeah.
Because we're built for war. We're not built. A man is not built to sit on a couch and do the thumb thing.
I know.
I don't know if it goes for females too. They're built to raise children and give birth and nourish, but not for this. Nobody is, right? So so we've created this society of full comfort, and maybe that's back to LA. Like it's I don't know. Maybe it's just too comfortable. Do you know these places that are too beautiful?
Yeah.
The Garden of Eden, like. I don't know. Maybe you need. I as a man, I need the suffering. I need the pain. If I don't feel pain, that creates the pain. If I don't have the pain in the gym or in the cold plunge, I will create the pain in my head.
Yeah.
I will suffer on the couch. Right? There's nothing more exhausting than doing nothing. I like the days where I don't go to the gym, I don't move my body. I am exhausted.
Awful. Yeah, you feel awful.
I am done.
Yeah, you totally feel awful.
Yeah. So the gym is like my fake hunt.
Yeah.
My fake body performance.
You know, dude, I've gone in that. I've been in that rabbit hole. I've fucking crawled around. I've scratched and clawed at why and how could this be and we're fucked. And I don't think innovation is necessarily a bad thing. You know, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that how we can make money in the world has been reduced to scrolling on a screen and pressing buttons. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. The bad thing is what that ease and comfort seduces us into believing is a life, right? Like you said. Because I've had this whole thing lately, dude. You know, on Instagram, everybody's talking about your morning routine and optimizing yourself, and you got to do this, dude. That's all because we don't have any purpose anymore. You know, like we've got too much time on our hands. We're too comfortable and we have no idea what our purpose is. So yeah, of course you got to wake up and have somebody tell you, give you the checklist of how to get yourself going every day, dude. If you're living with purpose, man, you roll out of bed and you're fucking on fire. You're just doing shit because that's what your life calls for. It doesn't matter. You know, you don't need a fucking morning routine when you're living with purpose. You just don't. You go and do shit. You get shit done. You fucking live. You don't need a fucking morning routine. You're not thinking about optimizing yourself, you know? So the morning routine and the optimization of self is effective until you feel so full and alive of purpose that you don't need it anymore. Or you figure out what the fuck your purpose is, which is small, medium, big on any given day in any given moment. Your purpose could be waking up and loving your wife, taking care of your kids, you know, saying hello to the barista who gets your coffee in the morning, giving them a hit of kindness and appreciation and looking them in the eye and seeing them as a human being. That's a purposeful moment right there because you just lit somebody's world up, dude. You changed somebody's whole vibration that's going to go out into their life and change all the people that they come into contact with. That's purposeful. Purpose could be fucking being Luke Skywalker and starting the rebellion and taking down the Empire. It can be that big and massive as well. But But it happens, it arises moment by moment. If you stop thinking about trying to find your purpose and start making your life purposeful, all this shit just starts to take care of itself, dude. Because you just start living for the moment. You start living your life as it's coming to you. There's a million things to do all the time, but most of us are just so caught up in the ease and the comfort, and it's, I'll do that later. Or, it's like, dude, there's a million things to do right now. Get it done. Let's fucking go. You got purpose right here. It's calling to you, man. Are you going to fucking take it? Or are you just going to go back to bed? I've done the thing, man. I've had this really interesting experience over the last few years because, like I said, from the time I was 12 years old till I was, 28, in a certain container, playing football every day. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, had an itinerary from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night, knowing exactly where I was, where I had to be, what I had to do, lifting weights, practicing, watching films, studying the game, living my life as this warrior athlete, day in, day out for 15 years. Then I came out of my football career, and I was totally broken and shattered. Thought, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? Got myself on this healing journey, started putting myself back together on this spiritual path of figuring out who the fuck I am and what I'm supposed to do and what I like and what I'm interested in. But I took that same discipline and I applied it to my spiritual practices, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, meditating for 30 minutes, doing breath work, getting a workout in. By the time I'm making my coffee, my wife and my daughter are awake and I'm getting my daughter to school and then I'm into my day. I'm doing my podcasts, et cetera, right? And then I got totally burned out on that and realized, fuck, dude, I need a break. I'm losing my will to live here. This is about 4 years ago. And I totally shut it down. I turned everything down to zero. I went through a divorce. I turned everything fucking down to zero, man. And I let myself be totally free. Do what I want, be where I want, when I want, wake up when I want. I'm not going to live by any sort of schedule. And all the while, there's this little voice in the back of my head going, dude, what the fuck are we doing? Where are we going, man? What's going on here? We're a piece of shit. I'd be like, no, dude. We're taking this time. We're going to see what it's like. We've never done this before. And in doing that, I really learned how important work is for me. I need to wake up every day and have a purpose. I need to fucking take the lunch pail and the hard hat and go to work, swing the hammers. Whatever that looks like, I got to have purpose. I got to have something I'm doing with my life. Otherwise, there's this part of my soul that doesn't feel alive. I feel like I'm dying. I need to work hard in the gym, dude. I need to stress my nervous system in a way that resets it. That could be a cold plunge, heavy weightlifting, hot yoga, sauna, intense breath work, meditation. I need to do things that challenge myself in being with myself and doing hard things and getting uncomfortable. I have to. Otherwise, I feel like shit, like you were saying. I need to fucking create. I need to make art, podcast, drawing, writing, doing whatever it is. I need to express this thing that's moving inside of me. And I need to be disciplined with it. I need to get up every day, early in the morning. And I need to hit the ground running, like you said. As men, our energy, it rises and sets with the sun in the morning. I feel super fucking creative. I could conquer the world. I have a thing right now. It's like in the morning, I could go either two ways. I could get a hard workout in, or I could just hit the fucking desk and start getting my work done. So I'm kind of in this like figuring out day by day. I think it changes. Like some days I have more to do than others. So it's like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to write this article. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to schedule these pods. I feel like I'm ready to rock and roll on all this work. Other days I'm like, I got to get up and move, sweat, perspire, get after it. And I think it takes there's a nuance to it, and you have to be willing to listen and hear what's going on inside. But for me, it became super clear, man, that hard work is necessary for me. Getting up every day and knowing where the fuck I'm going. What's the mountain I'm climbing, dude? Where am I going today? Where's the peak that I'm attempting to summit? I need to have those things in order to feel fully alive. And where I found myself this year, even in the last couple months, is in a really wonderful blend of super hard discipline, honoring these must-haves, these fundamentals of my life that create structure. I think it's a really important thing for men. We need structure. It's important for me. Me just like freewheeling every day doesn't end up too good. I don't feel good inside. And that was an important exercise for me to learn, like, okay, what happens when you don't have a plan every day? What happens? How does it feel? Does that work or doesn't that work? Didn't really work for me. Aspects of it were important because I needed to learn how to rest and recharge the battery so that I could sustain the workload. I could keep going. I wouldn't burn out, because that's a thing for me. I'll just fucking burn out. I'll go until I got no gas left and I can't get out of bed and I have no will to live and I'm just like, fuck everything. That's not helpful either. That's not a good place to be. So learning how to rest was a really important thing for me, man. So I'm at a place where I can honor both. I can go, okay, I need to recognize that I need to learn, I need to recover, and I need to work hard. So can I do both so that I can sustain the workload, my own workload, for as long as possible, be as successful as possible in my endeavors, whatever they might be. And I think that's a balance. That's a dance that only comes through experience. You know, you can't read a fucking self-help book and learn how to do that. You can read books, study with teachers, do all this stuff, learn as much as you can, expand your knowledge base, expand your awareness, but then you have to apply it. You have to work it. You have to experience it. You have to see what happens, because everybody's different, dude. And learning about yourself, knowing yourself above all, is the most valuable thing we can do. It's taking time to do that. And that happens through experience. Being on the field, practicing the shit, seeing what happens. What do you think about that?
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I don't think a real man like free balls and just like I've done that before, and like I think even my toddler needs discipline and routine, like, and like it needs both. It needs a routine and it needs the free play. It needs you're as a human being, it's not the right answer. Like you said, you got to have a little bit of both. It's the yin and yang.
Yeah.
You can't just only discipline all day, but you got to discipline a little bit.
100%.
Yeah. And there comes the beauty with it, because if you're just living in comfort, it gets dark even in that, which is like fascinating, right? It's so fascinating that when you have everything, you have the roof, you have the food, you don't have anything, anywhere to go, and there comes deep sadness and darkness from that in there.
Maybe
because
the
it
most
feels
darkness.
because the yin and yang, you have everything, so the darkness comes in just how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it goes the same way. If you only discipline and you only, like I've done that too, you only listen to podcasts every minute of the day, I educate myself either physically or mentally, and also that fucks you up.
Yeah. You get burned out. You're like, fuck all these people, dude. Yeah. I'm not interested in any of this shit.
And I'm not optimized at all.
No.
Right? You're totally. Like chasing, and on that 1%, and it drives you nuts as well.
I think something we're really missing in the modern age is to allow things to emerge. Because, dude, infinitely intelligent body and soul infused in this body that we have zero comprehension of. There's so much that just emerges, brother. There's so much that just comes up, but we're so lost in the chasing and the doing and the that none of that can happen. We can't see any of that stuff, you know, when it arises. When the truth arises, we're too distracted to see it. So I think it really takes a balance. I mean, for me, it was a necessary thing because I'd been so disciplined for so much of my life, you know? So many Instagram influencers are like, you gotta be disciplined, fuck it, go. And it's like, bro, you've been lifting weights for 2 years. I've been lifting weights since I was fucking 11, you know? Like, in a militant, disciplined mode.
How did you, was that your dad or how you grew up?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was just, I mean, both my parents were lifetime athletes. So they always really understood the power of physical strength, well-being, so how that comes through exercise.
There's no questioning for you as a 12-year-old why you're running, sprinting until you throw up?
I wanted it. You know, I wanted it. Yeah. You know, it's one of the things with my daughter. I'm like, for me, I was like, there was some dysfunction in my family, you know, there was some like fucked up shit in my family. My family's great too. I mean, there's a lot of clips on me talking about all the stuff I've overcome family dynamic wise. And, you know, my family's great too. They're just like all of us come from, there's good and there's bad. There's stuff, right?
Right.
That we have to break through and break out of. For me, I had a ton of rage. And to be able to put that into physical endeavors, like working myself to the point of vomiting, I wanted that shit, dude. I wanted to be a fucking warrior. I wanted to conquer the world. And when I was 11, my dad got me my first weight set. And it was everything. It was everything I wanted, you know. And, you know, and I started doing bench. I was like this with just the bar, you know. Now I can rep, I don't know, 315 handful of times. And more at some points. But, you know, it's like, it was a process. It started really small, but I wanted it, you know. And it's always felt natural to me. Like you said, I mean, as I've gotten older, now I'm 38, and still got a lot, you know, I still have a lot to learn, still learning a lot. But I've come to a place where I really crave the hard shit. Like, I don't feel good. I don't feel grounded unless I've done the fucking hard shit. Like, I love the ice tub. Love it.
Do you ever want to walk back out one more time?
On the field?
Yes.
No.
The stadium fucking screaming at you?
You know, I really, the stadium looks different. The field looks different nowadays. But to do that, I don't. I took my football career until the wheels fell off, as they say, literally. You know, I took it to the edge. I burned it to the bone. I gave everything I had to it. And there was nothing left when I came out. You know, there was no more like, I wish. Just give me one more play. No. Not for me.
I always wonder that, you know, when they walk out at the MMA fights, that dopamine, that adrenaline, when you go in the cage, like if you ever get that again or never again.
You don't.
You know?
You definitely don't get it at that level ever again. But that's part of growing, man. You know, it's part of maturity and growing and expanding as a soul. It's like I was lucky because I got to do it.
Yeah.
I got to give it everything I had until I was done. You know, some guys, they get cut and they still feel like they have more to do and they never get another opportunity. And there's this wanting that's left inside. I feel like I really gave it, dude, I took it to the fucking bone. When I say that, I took it to the bone. Like, there was nothing left to give. I had ruptured the disc in my back, L5S1, played 4 years after that, grinding it out, dislocated my shoulder surgery, back surgery. I played until literally I was in the seat watching the film going, what am I doing here now? Like, I got to pop pills just to stay upright, you know?
Like now?
No, not anymore. I mean, you know, I've really, losing a ton of weight was really important for my back health, for the health of my body. Yoga, you know, I don't take pills anymore.
But how do you feel now?
I feel pretty good.
Like physically?
I feel pretty good. You know, I have shit. Low back. Tightness is basically a daily thing that I manage and work with. I get headaches from tension in my neck a lot. Probably, you know, more than the average person. I've got pain. Shit, weird stuff pops up. Knee pain, hip pain, feet hurt. But I've committed myself to my physical well-being in ways that most people can't even comprehend, you know? That's why I say I sometimes take it for granted, the physical aspect of my life, because it's just who I am and what I do, you know? It's never like, oh, I got to remember to get my workout in today. It's like, I'm getting my workout in today. When might be dependent on a few variables of what I have going on that day, but it's just built into my day. You know, I'm not going to like miss the workout, miss the physical therapy that's a non-negotiable for me. I don't eat certain foods because they fucking make me feel inflamed and depressed and make my joints and my back hurt, you know? Like, I can't really eat gluten. I just can't. When I eat too many carbs, period, my body just has a hard time breaking down sugar. It's just how it is, you know? Fucking, I have like shit just gets flared up. I get puffy, I get inflamed, I get a brain fog, I'm depressed, I lose my will to live. So I have to eat in a really specific way. It's just how I am, you know? And that's come through a lot of experience, like experiencing immense amounts of pain and suffering and learning how to deal with it naturally, you know? So, you know, today I feel pretty good. I don't regret anything I did. Dude, I was the most violent player on the field just about every team I ever played on my entire football career. I wouldn't do it any other way. That's who I was. That's how I fucking operated. And I don't regret any of it. I quite the opposite, in fact. I feel really honored. It's like a badge of fucking honor that I got to do that. I got to be that guy, express myself in that way, live that life. And I carry that with me very proudly, dude. You know, I wake up in the morning and I got to take good care of myself. Otherwise, I'll fall the fuck apart. Really, you know? And it's one of the pieces that if you're lucky, you understand when you come out of that life, you know? So not everybody does. I've had a handful of teammates who are already dead. Teammates, dude. Guys my age. I'm 38. Guys who are dead. It's heartbreaking, you know?
Because everybody has to
there's so much that goes into that, man. You know, you've got to re-identify yourself psychologically, and then you've got to take accountability and start taking good care of yourself in a whole new way, you know, and you've got to be willing to listen to that. If you're holding on to that shit, it's going to just drag you down. It's going to close you up in a way that isn't life-bringing, you know? We're divinely tuned beings, man. And I think all of us who get to that level of playing in the NFL, you're destined to be there. But it's only part of the story. It's just a little... Dude, Tom Brady played like 20 years. That's still just like a little snippet of his life. Yeah. Most of his life is not going to be playing football. You know, and so you've got to be willing to totally re-identify yourself as a human being. And to me, I mean, that's been the most challenging and the most fruitful work of my life after football. Because what you realize is when you come out of it and you spend that time, I mean, for me, the process was I got to kill this guy, leave him out in the desert, never come back to him. But that doesn't really work because that warrior is a really big part of who I am as a man. So I can't totally cut myself off from that guy, that archetype, that shade of myself. I've got to integrate it into this new person that I am.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you don't do that, you stay really tight, you know. You shared that book. You're reading The Secret right now.
Yes.
I mean, one of my all-time teachers is a guy named Bob Proctor, who was heavily involved in that, the making of that book. That book was written by Rhonda Byrne, I believe, but Bob was involved to some extent because he's really one of the OGs of all that material, which is the science of prosperity, basically, the spiritual science of self-development. And, you know, one of the things he talks about is like we're all walking around like this fucking clenched fist because you're holding on so tight to something that isn't even real, like who you are and identity. It's all an illusion.
Exactly.
But when you open up, when you allow yourself to relax and you allow that infinite divine energy to express itself and emerge and blossom from your inner being, dude, you have infinite capacity to create, to live, to breathe, to inspire, to do all the things you were meant to do. But if you stay really closed up, and one of the main ways that we do that is holding on to something that we were yesterday. You know, you go, oh, well, I was a pro football player, so I got to be like this. I'm going to make money like this. I'm that guy. And if I'm not that guy, which none of us are once we leave the league, you know. Some people like Tom Brady, I mean, he's a legend. You know, he's kind of the extreme of the scenario. But most guys like me, most people don't even know me from my football playing days, you know. You're just a face in a jersey and behind a helmet. Nobody even knows who you are. So when you come out of the league, it's like nobody looks at you that way. When you're in the league, people go, oh, dude, that guy's a pro football player, man. You come with this fucking, you know, coat of glory just wrapped around you. Everybody looks at you as through a certain glamour. But once you're not that, everybody's looking at you like, oh, you're a has-been. What happened to you? Why aren't you doing that anymore? I can't tell you how many times when I first left the NFL, how many times I'd be talking to people. They'd say, oh, what do you do, man? I was like, well, I just retired from the NFL. I'd be like, why aren't you still playing? I'd be like, what? Like, what do you mean? And it hurt, it cut, because I was like, oh, fuck. It's this heavy realization of like, nobody cares, dude. And that's for everybody. Nobody cares, man.
But even for Tom Brady, no?
Well, with him, it's, he's won 7 Super Bowls. He's a fucking legend.
I know, but at
You're
some
right.
point,
You're right.
he's just gonna die, and then people are gonna forget.
People will forget about him. No doubt about it.
People move on, and he might have it harder than anyone to re-identify. What the fuck am I gonna do now, bro?
This is very true.
Yeah.
This is very true. My point is more like his opportunities now are linked directly to who he was as that guy. I mean, maybe mine are too, now that I think about it. But he can ride that wave a little bit longer. He can still be the guy signing autographs at the thing, For me, that felt disturbingly grotesque. Like I'd done when I came out of the league, I did a lot of cannabis advocacy, talking about cannabis as medicine for football players dealing with brain trauma. Cannabinoids are a known neuroprotectant, can be very beneficial for healing traumatic brain injuries. It's also a great alternative to opiates, which is a huge problem. And so I'd go around and I'd do these speaking gigs from, Harvard Medical School to UCLA and everywhere in between and all of these conferences. And one thing they'd like to do is like set up a table and do autograph signings. And I'd be like, dude, I hate this. I'm not big enough for this. Like, I didn't, like, people, it feels weird, man. Like you're wanting me to sign a card of something I'm not anymore, So I had to, a big part of it for me was letting go of that completely, re-identifying myself, coming to learn who I really am, and then taking the aspects of that guy who used to be, recognizing how important they are, how crucial they are to feeding the fire of the man that I am today, and letting those live and breathe inside of me, like this energy of, I'm here to conquer the world. I tried to get rid of that for a long time because I thought it was bad. Only to realize that energy is super vital to who I am when I walk into a room today. Now, the difference being, I don't need to conquer the world through dominance, blood, and death. I can conquer the world through fucking love and positivity. You know what I mean? And protection. So reconfiguring those concepts in my mind's eye and my heart of who I want to be and how I want to be, because it's less about like who I want to be and more living in alignment with what's true inside. This emanation, this energy that's just coming forth once you've gotten rid of all the shit that society, family, church, school has put on you. So starting to live more in alignment with who I'm supposed to be. What's emerging from me. That idea of conquering the world is really important to that guy. So, I feel really lucky going back to this whole idea of just, I think, for me, health and well-being is as much a spiritual endeavor as it is a physical. Dude, I just did my blood work. Can you guess what my testosterone is? You know about this? Are you into like testosterone?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How low it is in most men these days.
How high is it?
932. That's totally natural. No TRT, no hormone replacement therapy. That's just how I live. My testosterone's 932.
Wow.
I was pretty fucking pumped up. I had no idea what it would be.
Yeah.
But, my point being, dude, I don't really do anything special. Like I said, I've learned how to eat so that I feel vibrant and alive. I eat 99% real foods. Sure, every once in a while I have fucking Jimmy John's Unwich sub, or every once in a while I'll have a protein, a lettuce wrap burger from In-N-Out. But for the most part, it's like I'm eating at home. I'm eating good organic meat. I'm eating vegetables. I'm eating a little bit of fruit, very little carbohydrates outside of, fruit-based honey, maple syrup, very little pasta, rice, potatoes, bread, no bread. So I'm eating in a pretty simple way. I lift heavy weights. I sweat hard at least 6 days a week. I get out in the sun. And I allow myself to be, It's like it's not that complicated. And it was interesting to see that, because we live in this time where everybody's like, oh, men's testosterone's never been lower. A man tested in a 30-year-old or a 70-year-old man tested in like 1980 has more testosterone than a 25-year-old tested in 2026. It's shit like that. They were like, what's going on? How could that be? But it was interesting to get that feedback and go like, oh, I mean, what I do actually matters and it works, So anyway, I thought that was interesting. And for me, it's like health, no matter what it looks like, it's a spiritual endeavor as much as anything else, because it's about your inner, like, dude, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of shit out here, microplastics, how toxic the environment is. Food is a disaster. Our food system's fucked. Western medical care is a disaster. We're more sedentary than we've ever been. All this stuff matters to a degree, but what matters more is our relationship to it, like our inner relationship. The amount of tension we carry around X is actually more detrimental, in my view, than the thing itself. If you're walking around encased in fear because of all the toxins in the environment, the hormonal expression and the vibration of your nervous system is killing you faster than the toxins in the environment will. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the secret.
Exactly.
That's the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That your brain cannot differentiate if you're like, I don't want cancer, because all you think about is cancer.
Yes. So you're going to get
or
cancer. All
you think about, let's say, is microplastics,
right? Right.
You're only thinking about everything bad in the diet. So that is what you consume. That's what's going to happen.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's the secret. Law of attraction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So, I mean, a big part of my practice is like, we're not going to change anything or live the life we want to live by worrying about all the shit that's wrong.
Yeah. Not only that, also since I've been a baby, that's always been the narrative. I've never heard a news say like it's the best ever, right? It's always global warming, always everything's going to shit, always. Ever since since I can remember.
Which goes back to my point about, I don't know if it's not, I don't want to live in the narrative that we're fucked because we're living in a time where we make all our money scrolling on our phone. Yeah. What a blessing that is, actually.
Yeah.
Just that it's that easy.
Do the work.
Yeah. Do the work, live your life. Be who you fucking are born to be. That doesn't include fucking worrying about all the shit there is to worry about. There's a lot of shit to worry about, dude. Yeah. It's probably the best time to be alive.
It's always the best time to
be
alive.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. I love that I think Kanye said that it's the best day ever. Tomorrow's going to be even better.
I love that.
It's the best day. Like Elon always says, it's the best time to be alive. Period. There's no better time to be alive than now.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
How could it be any other way?
Yeah.
Because if I truly believe that, that is the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking about cutting off your NFL career. It's like cutting off your inner child.
Yeah. 100%.
You're like, I'm a grown up now. I'm not that kid is still in there. Like,
yeah.
You cannot. And also, I was going through, when you said I was going through that renaissance, I still think I'm still going through that. I'm at a point where I don't want to find myself anymore. Maybe that is the beauty is in not finding yourself and letting those periods be what they are in your life. I think there's this constant like need of that bio, that IG bio to fill that, right? Who are you?
Yeah.
But name it. And maybe you don't want to, I don't want to name it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's okay to not know who you are.
I think it's totally okay.
Yeah. Because
totally okay.
You're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
To something.
Yeah.
That you used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Because that has already passed. We're here right now.
Yeah.
And I think I really like the law of attraction and that you're in control in how you're gonna see the glass half full or half empty. You know, you can always change your perspective and see the beauty.
It's the only ultimate truth, dude.
Yeah.
You know? All of that stuff is built on ancient hermetic principles, which are the laws of the universe. The universe is mental. Everything that we see and are is in the mind. Cause and effect, law of polarity, law of gender, all this stuff. As above, so below. These are universal principles of the structure that we exist within. You know, once you understand that, everything in The Secret, everything that the true OG personal development people are talking about, like Bob Proctor, Earl Nightingale, they've all distilled down these ancient principles that the Egyptians knew and fucking ancient Greeks understood. All these people understood this shit. Ancient tribes, et cetera, et cetera. They've distilled down the key elements of it, and they've put it in language that we, the modern people, can understand and apply to our lives in a way that really matters. The problem is, most of us aren't doing it because we're just bombarded by the screens and the news and the media, and it's really, I mean, the more awake you get, the more you realize how it has to be constructed in a way that's meant to keep us in fear. As long as you're in fear, you can't make good decisions and you can't be the person you were destined to be, which is a fucking infinitely capable human being. You just can't. You're living in the amygdala. You're living in fight or flight. Your prefrontal cortex is literally shut off if you're living in fear. Your nervous system can't function properly. You can't digest food. Your immune system doesn't work. You know what I mean? If you're walking around mouth breathing in a constant panic, it's just physiological. This isn't even that deep. It's just a reality of how our human body works. You know, you're pumping adrenaline and cortisol, dude. You're in fight or flight constantly. You can't do anything but survive. Your blood flow is restricted. Your blood pressure goes up. Your heart rate's increased. You literally can't make a good decision for you or your family. How are you going to break out of the matrix if you're in that mode? You can't. You have to unplug yourself, dude. That's why in the matrix, the plug is right back here. It goes right into the amygdala. That's the reptilian brain. It's the survival mode. It's the ancient brain. It's an important part of our physiology, our neurology, but it can't be running the show. We got to get into the Godhead, the prefrontal cortex, center of executive decision-making, and that only happens when you start breathing in and out of your nose, literally. That's the first step. Just start breathing in and out of your nose, dude. You find yourself driving around town, at work, mouth breathing, you're hitting the panic button. Your whole nervous system's going, where's the threat? I'm in a life or death situation. Just close your mouth, start breathing in and out of your nose. You quiet down the amygdala, you turn on the prefrontal cortex, blood vessels dilate, blood circulation improves, heart rate goes down, you start pumping the good, happy hormones. You can make a good decision for yourself. You can see the forest through the trees, you know? But most of us were, you know, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of people who go really deep down that rabbit hole and they live their entire life trying to expose the matrix. I'm not really interested in that, dude, because I don't think that gets us anywhere. The more we're focused on the fucking matrix, the more we're stuck in the matrix, you know? So how do we get out of that? We just have to live in a new way, live in a completely new way, you know? And it doesn't have to be this big, extravagant exercise. It's this, dude. It's connecting with like-minded people. It's learning what you're really interested in. It's having a family. It's, you know, raising children based on your own inner truth, which is what feels good and right to you, you know? Unplugging yourself from the trap of institutions and governmental ideologies. It's like that doesn't get us anywhere, man. That's why I'm not interested in fucking some political argument. I'm not interested in, you know, labels. None of them make sense to me. Because being human is so much, it fucking transcends all that shit. What we're really trying to do, you know? And, you know, one thing you said is, you mentioned to me was, you know, moving back to California and raising your boys and trying to figure that out. And, you know, one thing that I did not anticipate when I had a child was like, especially when your kid starts having to go to school, like, oh, that's why it matters where you live. You know, that's why it matters where you are. You live in a state like California, you're subjected to an insane fucking mandatory vaccine schedule that you're going to have to get really savvy if you want to circumvent. And they make it more and more difficult all the time. But if you're somebody who believes in freedom of choice as a human being, which we all deserve and should have, like, I don't want to inject my child with some fucking insane chemical that was concocted by a billionaire fucking felon who's been accused of killing millions of people, you know? I mean, all the pharmaceutical companies have been that. It's like, you trust them with your child's health? Why?
It's not even that. Well, it's exactly that, but it's even, I don't want to separate my the brothers. You know, I can get around vaccine schedules and all that shit.
Sure, of course.
But then I'm still letting a frustrated, unhealthy person spend time with my son.
Yeah.
I don't, and I separate the brothers. Let's say, okay, there's even like, first of all, no masculinity in schools. There is no masculinity.
Yeah.
Then you have the neon lights, you have the not being outside, you don't have the non-exercise. But even past that, like, now I'm gonna separate my perfect brothers. Like, they are brothers. They're meant to like be
good
together.
Boys, man.
Yeah, and you separate them because they're in a different year.
Great, yeah.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
And I've lost all my friends at some point. But family is kind of like family, you know? You move, you go to different journey in your life, you start families, like, things change, right? You can keep in touch, but also, like, family is like powerful. And I don't want to separate my boys, and I don't want to vaccinate them, and I don't want to have them be in an institution with these crazy, that programming is crazy in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And my point is really, like you said, when you become a parent in these new phases of your life, I didn't think about that, you know, moving back to California. I didn't think about any of that because my daughter wasn't going to school yet. So I didn't have to think about it, you know? But then as a parent, as you get older and your family evolves and grows, and you start to go like, oh, what really matters to me, dude? You know, like, what's really important to me? And the stakes get raised. So then you start to have to live. You have to start living and making decisions based on, you know, and living in accordance with what's happening inside of you and what matters to you most. Like, what hills are you really willing to die on, dude? There's not many for me. Like, I'm a pretty easygoing guy, to be honest with you. But you start telling me I have to inject shit or wear shit or do shit that I don't want to do, I'm going to fucking battle, bro. You know, I'll die there. I will die on that hill. Because to me, there's nothing more important than freedom. That's what this country was actually built on. Whatever the fucking conspiracy theorists want to say about the Freemasons and, you know, all these guys who started this country was started as a spiritual flagship of freedom, spiritual freedom. That's why this country was started. That was the mental image. That was the vision they had. And it's infused in the spirit of this place. Wherever anybody is, whatever happened during COVID, wherever anybody was at, it's still infused in the spirit of the human beings who live here, who gravitate here. Because all of the shit that was happening during COVID, none of it lasted because it couldn't. There was even the small amount of people that were rising up against the policies that were being put in place. None of that darkness could withstand that little bit of light, however small it was. And I think it was greater than what we were even told or what we've seen. It was greater than that. But like this place this is a spiritual flagship. This country, it was founded as that of freedom and possibility, of the human spirit, beyond anything else. You know, that's why restrictions just, they don't thrive here. To an extent they do, but that's really what this place is all about. And to me, there's nothing more important than that. It's freedom. And
is that why you're in Texas?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, partially.
I feel more free there.
Yeah, I mean, Texas feels to me like everything that's great about America.
Bro, Texas feels like America.
It feels like America.
Yeah.
You know, everything that's great about America is happening in Texas. It's alive in Texas.
Yeah.
It feels open. It feels free. It feels like life, you know? It's hard. It's an energy. It's a spirit that lives there. People are proud to be human beings there, which I love, you know? It's a problem with the metropolises, you know, New York City, Los Angeles, the big cities. There's a restriction on humanity, and you can see it in the culture. People are a little bit ashamed of who they are, you know? Fashion is important. Who you are is important. The car you drive is important. Dude, none of that shit fucking matters, man. Who you are as a human being, like how you express your humanity, that's all that actually matters. And how that lives and breathes in society. That's all that matters, you know? The facade is just the facade. It's an illusion. And it's a very true thing, and something that revealed itself to be really important to me as I've gotten older, you know, especially coming through COVID and seeing like, man, I love LA. I grew up here. LA always felt like the mecca of creativity and health, you know? And then COVID happens. It's like, what's going on here, dude? You know? What? Am I alone? I'm totally alone. And that was an important experience for me to have. You know, hard, very hard, but important. You know, so yeah. You're 33, I'm 38. It's good that you're experiencing different things, and you're you know, your awareness of what matters to you is starting to grow. That was around the time. I mean, I was probably around 33, 34. Started being like, oh, this shit, like, what really matters to me, dude? You know, it's funny because I've had this conversation in some of my men's groups with guys who are older, you know, who are like, man, when I was growing up, when you were 18, you were a fucking man. You know, now you're 18, you're a fucking boy, dude. You know? Like, men don't start emerging nowadays until you're in your mid-30s. You start developing those truly male instincts of what matters to you. Because I think that's a big part of how you show up and how you're preparing yourself for the world and life. So I think for me, it happened around that age, dude. You know, you start looking around going, I don't really fit in here, dude. You know, I thought this place felt like home, but it actually doesn't feel like home. You start to visit other places, you experience other cultures, meet new people, see things, feel things. You start to go, oh, that feels like home. You know, it's important to do that, to take yourself places, have experiences that starts developing that psychic touchstone, that landmark inside of where you want to go, who you want to be, how you want to live, what feels like home to you, and start to move towards that. That's been what the last few years have been for me.
Yeah, I always felt like not blending, not fitting in. Always, actually. Yeah. Back in Austria, as a teenager, every time I've ever been to a club, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
What are all these people doing here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think everybody feels like that?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because I definitely had the same feeling. And I did that, dude. I did all that shit too. Clubs, tables, bottle service, all that shit. And I always thought the same thing. You know, there was something inside of me. I'd have fun, don't get me wrong. I would enjoy myself too. But there was always something inside of me that was like, what is this? This is so dumb. Like, what are we doing here? It's fucking too loud. You know? Like, there's no connection. You've never felt lonelier than in like a fucking packed club that's dark and the music's blaring. Right?
Right.
And I guess you're right. You know, which brings me to the idea of like NPCs or soulless bodies that are just kind of walking around the planet, you know? Like people who aren't conscious. That's definitely a thing.
And I've never thought that I've never held my child and be like, you know, this ain't it.
Yeah.
This is not the one.
Totally, man.
Never looked in my baby's eyes and was like, nah.
Yeah, not for
you're
me.
You're not it.
I agree, man.
Yeah. Or I had this need, I need another one. You know? I love another one, but I don't need another one. Like I don't, it's not like cars.
Yeah.
You know? It's not that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get old. Like it's just, it never, like hugging my kid every morning, it never gets old.
Yeah. I agree, man. It's nothing better. Yeah, I love being a father. I love it. It's my favorite thing to be. Beyond anything I've ever done.
And then you have to, like, also, like, I realized that, like, I don't care as much about myself as now, or being conscious about, now you have to decide for that little human where he's gonna grow up, what he's gonna do with its time.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I've never thought about myself. Where am I placing myself in the world? How do I wanna spend my day? Like, I got, it really, like, turned me and my wife around being like, hold on, like what do we want?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Right? You take what society tells you what you want or need, the status, the clothes, the car, the home, the white picket fence. And then you're like, wait, actually I don't, like we've come around that we were like, we don't want to start our phone a day with our phone. You know, we don't want to wake up and go on our phone. We don't want to sit in a car. We don't want to drive around. I don't want to drive my kid to school. That is like, I've created my own 9 to 5. I'm an influencer, but I drive my kid to school every day like a chauffeur. You know, he doesn't want to be in the car either. Especially my little one, like, does not want to be strapped up in a car seat. And so now we have all these like new things like, hey, I don't want to actually do this. You know? Like,
what are you thinking? Are you guys still in the kind of limbo?
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that you also don't need to. It's like like you don't need to choose now where you're gonna like live the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I don't need to decide who I am because I know I'm gonna look back at this and be like, laugh about it probably, right? I've always have every time I look back at myself, there's always it's a fun journey, and I've come to like enjoy, the not knowing, not being so sure about
anything.
Anything. But also like I do want nature, and I do want to see my kids outside. I don't want to spend my days boxed up, and I want to get away from all the institutions and homeschool and hunt. That was also when I was walking around hunting, I felt so alive.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
And so purposeful.
Yeah.
Like more than ever in my like social media career.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Just walking through a forest with another man. Just walking with another man through a forest was like the most satisfying thing I've done like all year.
Totally.
Yeah. And
it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're so simple. Like what you said, all the simple things that you do, but we all don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't go out in the sun. We don't eat real food. We don't do human connection anymore. So that's why everybody has a low testosterone, And then you say like your testosterone is high, but like you do all these things, natural things.
Yeah. It's been I mean, when I was 26, if you told me when you're 38, you're going to be super fulfilled by cooking a meal and walking around your 5 acres and getting a workout in and having babies and having dogs and having a slow morning, drinking your coffee with your wife, I would have been like, dude, you're out of your mind, But it's true. It's come with maturity. It's just happened. I didn't really necessarily choose this. I've chosen it consciously because of every step I've taken along the way. And doing this thing and going, it's not really for me. Coming back here. Doing this thing. All right, that's kind of cool. I like that thing. Let me do a little bit more of that. Let me do a little bit more of this. Let me try this. Let me do that. And all of a sudden, here we are, and I'm living this pretty simple life. Like people ask me all the time, what are you doing with your day, man? What are you doing these days? And I'm like, I'm living, brother. Like I'm doing some cool stuff that I'm excited about, but that's not really like what I define my day by, like I sat at the computer and sent some emails and, wrote some Substack articles, but that's not like how I look at my life, like what I do yesterday. I woke up, had a cup of coffee, took my dog outside on the land, did some deep breaths, looking out at the horizon, had some really nice conversations with my wife, got a good lift in, took a nap, read a good book, did a cold tub. It's just like stuff, it's not about, it's just we're doing stuff. I mean, the job, the pod, none of that's who you are. It's just stuff we do, but it's not like I wouldn't say that that's how I identify myself at all. It's like these little things. I don't know. It sounds kind of dumb to talk it out, to say it out loud. But I think there's a real thirst for it, man. Like you're saying, a lot of people, I think we're in this interesting moment where the curtain's being pulled on who we are and what we've been taught to believe in. Like you said, all the stuff, the clothes and the car and the white picket fence and the job and the status and the money. And everybody's searching for, man, none of that stuff filled the hole. So where do I go? And so they're turning to, a lot of people are turning to Christianity. You know, a lot of people are turning to religion, to Orthodox religions. A lot of people are moving out to the homestead. They're starting to bake sourdough bread. You know, it's like, it's funny, but I think there's a real thirst, and people are feeling the need for getting back to their humanity through simplicity. And it's happening little by little. Obviously, some people never want that. You know, I think about all the things that I want. I want children. I want land. I want space. I want freedom. I want connection with dudes. I want a group of guys. I want a group of guys that if the fucking world is coming to an end, we're in the zombie apocalypse, we band together and form the fucking unstoppable tribe. You know what I mean? That can deal with anything. Those are the guys I want. You know? I feel like I've got those guys. Like I'm in that crew. I've got a group of guys, buddies, you included, man. Like, if I'm in LA and the zombie apocalypse hits, I think I'm calling you, bro. You know? But, like, that's what I want. I mean, that's what feels good to me. Everything else just feels like stuff I'm doing. You know, I want to be a really positive influence on the world, and that's not who I am. That's not like what I'm really excited about as far as my living experience. You know, that gives me purpose to be a positive influence on the world, which starts with my family, my friends, the community that I live in, and then trickles out into the world through my podcast, through the events that we do, when I teach yoga, all that good stuff. But to try to define or pigeonhole or contain, you know, what really feels fulfilling to me sounds silly through the lens of the modern perspective, you know, because it's not this fast-paced, high-intensity lifestyle, you know. It's not that exciting on paper. But it feels exciting, feels fun, feels like living, you know. So, anyway, I don't know how I got onto that, but we're just rolling, dude.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, with our parents, there was not as much questioning. You know, you had your job, you had the high school in town, everything was pretty laid out, and you didn't question as much. And now with the internet and social media and seeing how everyone else is doing it, you can have like a look that you didn't have to necessarily back in the day. And I think that really opens up like how Jim Carrey said, you know, like how you can realize that ain't it.
Yeah.
With like back in the day, I think people were just dreaming or pretending, and now like there's a deep awareness that the happiness, the true magic lays somewhere else.
Yeah.
At least in our bubble, in our echo chamber.
Yeah.
Right? There's a deep awakening of like that making that sourdough is much better than 1,000 likes on IG.
Yeah, right?
Right.
I mean, it's amazing to cook a meal at home.
Yeah.
It's such a good experience. I love it.
Yeah. And both is fun, I think, don't get me wrong, but it like after 1,000 you need 10,000, after 10,000 you need 100,000 to excite me personally, right?
Yeah.
Like after you had 10 million on TikTok, like it's not gonna excite me.
Yeah.
So the bar gets like raised.
Yeah.
You know, on the way up. Like I've ridden in Lamborghinis. I've looked at the Bel Air mansions. Like you gotta like I've eaten that nice steak.
Yeah.
So now what? Kind of it's that hole is like trying to get filled.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the like actually. I don't need to go to a fancy restaurant. I love my kids' eyes when I make food. That is satisfying to me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like feeding my family, as simple as that. Like, and also my younger self would have fucking laughed at that for sure.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, what an idiot, bro. Go get famous, you know? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know? But that comes with, and that's why it's so beautiful. I think that every chapter in our life is going to be different. And you want different things, and you're gonna see purpose in different things.
No doubt.
Yeah, there's beauty in that.
Yeah, 100%. That's part of the ride. You know, it's part of being part of the mystery. Yeah, that's funny that you say that because it's so true. It's part of the materialist trap. You've never arrived in that way. You've eaten in the nicest steakhouse in the world. You're like, where do we go now? You know, you've driven the Lamborghini. I want a faster car. What's a higher performance car than that? You know, you've been in the mansion. You need a yacht. It's like you've never gotten to the place. But when you're living in that way that you said, like making a meal for your kids and your kids are stoked about it and you're feeling that experience and it's something else, right? It's a connection. It's like an experience of presence. And there's all sorts of, I can't really speak to it, but obviously there's all sorts of biochemical exchanges going on that you don't get when you're just getting a thing, that's irreplaceable. And I think that's what people are really hungry for, like you're saying. And there's a hunger for it, but they don't know where to go to get it yet. And that's a part of the process. You cross over into the territory where the things that used to work for you aren't working anymore.
Yeah.
So you're feeling this new person emerging inside. But you don't have the vocabulary, the skills, the awareness to know where to go next or how to be next. So you kind of walk around in this limbo, but you got to start trying new stuff. You got to start doing new stuff so that you can expand your awareness to know what you want to do next. Like, what do you want to go to? Where do you want to go to? How do you want to be next? And you've got to go through that process, that ugly, uncomfortable, transitional period where you're like, I don't know what to do, but what I was doing isn't working anymore. And I think a lot of people, and we're all almost always in that if we're doing it right, There was something else you said. There's a funny thing that I've heard that, the guy who has $10 billion walks into the room with the guys who have $100 billion and he's going, I don't have enough. It's that type of trap, the materialist thing. It's like the guy who has one yacht is looking at the guy with 10 yachts going, I don't have enough. It's like, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy that's a thing, but that's the reality, right? We've been there.
Yeah, thief of joy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, just, I think it's all happening. And, about the parents. Our parents lived in a much simpler time. Mm. And it's one of the blessings and the curse of technology is it's expedited our spiritual evolution in this interesting way. Because like you said, you get to look into this window and see a glimpse of somebody else's life, what somebody else is doing, and it reveals to you a new possibility that you never would have thought of before. And in that way, it starts a process, a subconscious process of yearning, of desiring something new, or recognizing that what you have isn't it faster than what it used to be. And again, I think it's one of the blessings and the curse of technology is it's hyper sped up our evolution as human beings. Because we get to see more than we've ever been exposed to ever. And so we have a greater awareness of the possibilities, the infinite expanse of the universe of experience. And so we really get to look at, like never before, what our life is, how it feels, is it working for us or not? And we get to make changes, which is something of a divine occurrence, really, because, in the past, Bob Proctor always says this thing that I love. It's like, my grandma used to tell me I should be happy with what I've got, or I should be satisfied with what I've got. He's like, Grandma was wrong, because the soul is always looking to expand. Always. There's a part of you that wants to grow constantly. So we should be grateful for what we have, but always looking to expand to more. And that doesn't necessarily mean materialist. That means more energy, more contentment, more fulfillment, more purpose, which looks like a lot of different things now. It's also, money is not a bad thing. Money's a great thing. The idea that there's a lot of scarcity mindset tropes that filter through the personal development landscape, like, money doesn't make you happy, but money wasn't supposed to make us happy. It's about making us more comfortable and giving us more freedom. So it's not about happiness. And money is not the root of all evil. Money is energy. It's something that gives us more potential, more energy to do more stuff in our lives. So it's like we're at a place where we really get to do both. You know what I mean? Like, we get to live the life we want to live, getting our kids out into nature, out in space, more freedom, and get to have more of the stuff we really want. That's what I'm always working on with myself, is not pigeonholing myself or identifying with any limiting belief. Is going back to, it's all about our perception, dude. What's our relationship to everything? Everything. It's all about our relationship to everything. Ourselves, our relationship to money, our relationship to health, our relationship to potential. It's all this inner game that we get to fucking work on. Going back to something we said earlier, it really comes down to, are you willing to take accountability for yourself and your relationship to everything? Because that's where the magic is. If you commit yourself to radically changing your relationship to everything in accordance with what life you really want to live, life becomes a really fun experience, dude. If you're not willing to make that commitment and take accountability for, what does your life look like right now? How do you feel about it? If you feel miserable and you're pointing the finger at somebody, you're never going to get anywhere, dude. And you like pointing the finger, you like saying it's the government or it's the billionaire pedophiles. These people exist. Yeah, it's fucked up. But they have control over you as long as you allow them to. And like, nobody's holding a gun to your head to make the decisions you're making every day. So do it right. Do it how you fucking want to do it. Stop. Stop with the bullshit. Take accountability and live the life you want to live right now. That's the thing that, beyond anything, it's like we need to break out of that. It's a self-contained prison. Always. You're in a prison. You have the keys. In fact, the door's not even locked. All you have to do is walk out, but you choose to stay in the fucking prison. All right, stay in there as long as you want, dude. I'm not going to do it. I'm not playing that fucking game anymore. I did it for long enough. Doesn't lead you anywhere. Let's go. Get going. Live your fucking life, dude. Something my wife and I have been talking about. We just got a new puppy. And, It's a little thing, but she was saying to me, I'm tired of waiting to live. Like, I'm tired of like thinking, oh, well, we can't have a puppy right now because of this, this, and this, but I really want to get a new puppy. And that's what we're all doing. We're all like, oh, I'll get that when I get there, or I'll do that when I get there, or this thing happens. It's like, dude, fuck that. Start living right now. You know, when is the right time to have a new baby?
Right now.
Yeah. I mean, or never if you're in that mode, you know? Like, you're never going to have enough money or enough space to bring a new life into the world. So if you believe that, or you just fucking do it and your life is going to expand. It's going to happen, but you got to live. Stop waiting to live. Live right now. Let's go. You know? Get in the car, dude. We're fucking going to... You know, we're going wherever the fuck we want to go. We're going to infinity and beyond. You know, so that's something like I've never felt more excited and more inspired in my life than I do right now, and it's because this. I mean, honestly, dude, over the last few months, I mean, I've been in a spiritual renaissance myself in many ways. What's happened lately is I've made this commitment to myself to growth and expansion and breaking out of any limiting beliefs I have about anything, you know, and letting that be the energy. Breaking through that stuff is the fuel to the fire that is everything that I am and express out into the world. And it feels exciting, dude. It's like, let's stop waiting to live, man. Live. Let's go. Do the thing. Make it happen. Big, small. There's little things every day that you're not doing because you're holding yourself back because it's got to be the right time or the right moment. Dude, fuck all that. You got to throw yourself into the unknown all the time if you want to be who you feel you're destined to be. There's something inside of you, man, right? There's something inside of you calling out to be expressed and fulfilled and lived. Listen to it. Feed that fire. Go do it. Make it happen. See what happens. You're not going to regret it, dude. You know? Anyway, that's where I'm at. And I think we gotta... The rebellion, the ultimate revolution happens when everybody, at least the majority of people, start living in this way. Start recognizing you're a fucking infinite being, dude. Live like it. Stop allowing yourself to be imprisoned by illusory structures, fake structures, things that aren't real. There's nothing inhibiting you but you. Let's go. It's time.
I've lately done this experiment where I don't allow negative thoughts.
Yeah. I love that experiment.
And they always come.
Yeah.
And you can always change them.
Yeah.
Just like what you said about your career being a blessing. You can victimize yourself over anything. The funny thing is that it has nothing to do with your reality or your circumstances. Like, it's completely built by yourself because you can always have it worse and you can always have it better. So you can eliminate every negative thought. And I do it with my wife too.
Yeah.
So whenever she has a negative thought, I just switch it.
Yeah.
Change it.
Yeah.
If it's full of worry or doubt, those are like all the devil. And you can just easily, like, whatever you're saying, like I don't want the kids to be sick. Like, I'm like, don't say that.
Yeah.
Say, I love that my kids are being healthy right now.
Yeah.
They're actually healthy right now, though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm feeling good right now.
Yeah.
You know, I can always say, well, I don't want this to happen to me, but that is filling my head up with something with a negative prediction about what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have those mornings where I feel like a piece of shit that has not accomplished anything, right? You're just not good enough. That voice that is like, you're not good enough, you're not doing enough, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you can override it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm lately at, overriding it.
Yeah.
Gratefulness.
Yeah.
And still like hungry. I want to expand.
Yeah.
But I am not suffering from that. I don't see, I can expand effortless. It just comes to me because I am everything. I can do anything. I'm not, but I don't have to. I'm also really happy or satisfied with where I am right now.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop my expansion.
Right.
Because people are like, well, you're so present, just sit on a bench and do that kind of, like, no, I want to move. I want to be in the sun. I want to laugh with my kids,
Yeah.
And I want to make money.
Yeah.
Money brings me freedom.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
So, but don't belittle yourself. Don't make yourself small. Don't doubt yourself.
No.
Get those thoughts out, and also get the thoughts out around. If you have people around you that have those thoughts, change those people or change those thoughts. That's where I'm really.
Or you have to stop being around those people.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you get to a point, you work that enough, bro. You work that enough in yourself. You change the vibration that you're at, the frequency that you're living at. All of a sudden, you walk into a room, you pick up the phone, and you're talking to one of those people who lives in the negative. I'm like, I can't even really talk to you, man.
Yeah.
Like, usually there'll be there's a means to the conversation. Like, there's something that has to get done or something has to happen. There's an exchange or a transaction taking place. You come across people like that all the time, and you're just like, well, get me out of here. Let me buy this thing and get out of here. But I can't be around those people. You feel it in your body. I can't even relate to you, bro, because of your perception of reality. That's not my perception. Like, I went to a vitamin shop in Texas. I was on the way to the airport to pick up my daughter from the airport. I was so excited, dude. My daughter's coming to visit Texas. I'm like, I love this. It's fills me. I'm filled with joy. I had to stop at the vitamin shop. I don't know, get some protein powder, some creatine or something. Get in there, get the stuff I want. I'm going to check out. Guy's like, oh, how you doing? What's going on today? Where are you going? It was a Friday. I'm like, oh, I'm heading to the airport. He was like, ugh. I was like, well, I'm going to pick up my daughter. Yeah, anyway, you got to go to the airport? I was like, I can't even talk to you. Here's my money. Give me the fucking products. I'm out of here. Like, I was like, oh, you live in a different reality than me, which I have no interest in coming into your reality because that's your view of the world. And we come into contact with those people all the time, and you start to feel it once you start living in a certain way. My wife and I, we do no complain days all the time. We'll just say, next 24 hours, no complaining. And you realize how much shit you want to complain about. Or however, you can complain about anything and everything all the time. When you commit yourself to that and just do that exercise, try it. It's super powerful, dude. Like, anybody listening, do a 24-hour no complain day. See how that changes shit for you. Because first you become aware of how much stuff you want to complain about. And then you, like you said, you do the exercise of replacing the negative with a positive. So fucking powerful, dude. Changes everything.
Do you do a 24-hour complaining day?
Fuck no.
Yeah.
No way,
Yeah,
right? You would never do that.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah. You'd be like, it's
not
disgusting.
aware. People do it all the time.
I know.
Unaware. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's complain for 24 hours. I mean, right? Nobody wants to do that.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you come across people that do that all day.
Yeah. It's true, man.
And the best thing is that it really doesn't. that's why people say money doesn't bring happiness, because there are people extremely rich that haven't figured that one out.
Right.
Right?
For
They
sure.
still complain about everything being rich.
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh, see, I told you, this guy not happy, he has money. Well, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
But there are happy people that have figured that out.
Totally.
You know, and don't complain. And there's broke people that are happy and the other way around.
100%.
Yeah. So it's not that simple that fixes everything, but it's a good tool. But nobody wants to be the complainer.
Exactly. We just have those things. We have the wrong perspective on that stuff, you know? And maybe it's trained into us. I don't know. I mean,
well, in Christianity, they would say that because we ate the apple.
Right. I know there's a lot of interesting ideas in that I don't necessarily agree with, but and a lot of good too. But we have these improper postures or positions of view on a lot of things, money being one of the big ones. Because another thing that people will say is like, oh, well, I went to Africa and I lived with this tribe where the kids had no shoes and I've never seen anybody happier, which is a real thing. You know, like you said, people have no money in places and are totally fulfilled and love life. But that's not a reason for us to strive for poverty, you know? Like you would never say that. Like, oh, well, let me live that way. That's not really we're misusing the example. What it is you can be happy no matter what your circumstances are, and it's all on you and your perception of the world and your life. Money doesn't factor into the happiness marker, you know? So that it's like we have to reposition ourselves and deprogram ourselves of all the fucking bullshit we've been taught, which, again, could have been all intentional to keep us slaves to the machine. Either way doesn't really matter. It's still on us. Whether it was totally intentional and conscious to make us slaves to the machine or just a byproduct of the machine's uprising. You know, the capitalistic system, which nothing wrong with it again. It's just our perspective on it. It's our perception of it, our relationship to it. Either way doesn't matter. We're still accountable to our life experience, our position in the world, our position with ourselves. That's what we need to change, no matter what. So, again, coming back to what's your relationship to everything? And to get there, a really powerful technique is to go, what was my parents' relationship to money? What was my parents' relationship to health? What was my parents' relationship to love? What was my parents' relationship to potential? And when you start to look at that, for me, I do these exercises. I ask myself these questions, and I'll be in the shower thinking about what was my parents' relationship to health or money. One word will emerge that is the tone of the entire experience. And that, for me, it brings light to everything, because then you go, oh, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm living through right now. All the decisions I make are based out of that paradigm of belief. Like, oh, I get it. That's why I create these subconscious blocks that inhibit me from getting to the next place. Like I'll be kicking ass, and then all of a sudden I wake up one day and I have a splitting headache. It's like, dude, that's your subconscious. That's how powerful your mind is. It literally created a headache so that you would cancel your entire day and spend the whole day in a hole. Lose all your momentum. Ugh. Fuck. But when you recognize it, you see it, you go, oh yeah. My whole relationship to money, because of where I come from, the culture of my lineage is powerlessness. Oh, shit, dude. You know, I got to work really hard for everything I have. Nothing comes easy. And I'm waiting for the benefactor to walk in the door and cut me the check for $1 billion. That changes my life. Fuck, dude. That's everything I am. Everything, every decision I make, how I live is in that mode. So how do I change that? Oh, I wake up with a headache. I'm going to get all my shit done anyway before noon, and then I'll spend the rest of the day taking care of myself. Okay. Cool. Now we're keeping the momentum going, dude. We're continuing to move ourselves forward in the direction of the place we're trying to get to. But you can't do that until you know where you are. Because then the headache is just like, oh, woe is me. I got a headache. It's not a literal manifestation of your own belief matrix. And we all have this. So understanding where you come from is really important in understanding where you are in relation to where you want to get to. Because you can't get to where you want to go unless you know where you are. You can't build that roadmap. You can't see the path forward. So anyway, this is a lot of the stuff that I've been jamming on lately and working in my own life and experiencing and applying and working out. And it's fucking, it feeds the fire, dude.
You as a pro athlete, don't you think also that it just wouldn't be fun if we all win?
Yeah, totally, man.
Like if it is a game, it's kind of fun that it's so hard.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even like saying that.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's just epically.
It's a challenge.
Challenging.
Yeah.
Right. I love the challenge. I've never been a guy that likes easy. So I think it's kind of epic that, you know, like you go down the career path, you figure out that's not it. Then you go down the health path, that's not it. Family is cool, but you need still more than that. Like you still need to see men. I can't be with my wife every single day, you know, even it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So that's like the fun part.
Yeah, totally, man. I 100%
Bro,
agree.
if I would just stay fit without doing shit, that's not it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. 100%. There's got to be stakes.
Yeah, and that it's so that it takes so much, and that we're all chasing something. It's so fun.
Yeah,
So fun to find yourself and also get completely thrown out of that.
Well, that is a reflection of your sense of accountability and your spiritual maturity, dude. Because a lot of people go, "Oh, it's a challenge. Why? You know, which I've been there. I've had moments where I'm like, fuck, dude, it's so hard, you know? But then you get to a place like where we're at, where you go, fuck yeah, it's hard, dude. Hell yeah, bro.
Hell yeah, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go,
Yeah.
man.
Give me a bigger mountain.
Yeah. Give me a bigger mountain. I gotta step on the court and be a fucking lion, dude. I gotta come with the energy like I'm here to attack. I'm violent when I step on that field, you know? Like you have to have that mentality.
A chance to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna dominate this shit, whatever it is.
What you tell your daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck this guy up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You want to live a life without those moments?
Yeah. Because it's funny, like sports are a great analogy because especially youth sports, because you can see the kids who have that mentality. And then there's a lot of kids who they don't even really know how to play the game yet. So they're unsure on the court.
Yeah.
You know? Your uncertainty. You don't know where to be. Everything you're kind of like, you know, you're pacing through because you don't want to make a mistake. It's like, dude, make a mistake fucking full speed, bro.
Yeah.
Go hard. And if you make a mistake, we can live with that. We can live with aggression and violence and an attack mentality.
Yeah.
That's how you should live your life. And that's, you know, again, you clip that up in this day and age in social media, and people are like, whoa, bro, you don't want to be violent out there in the world. That's not what I'm talking about. You know, again, going back to how we started this conversation, like, we're the fucking, anyway, it's like, it's not even worth explaining, but it's like when you have that mentality, when you're doing anything, I'm going to give this everything I've got.
Yeah, people don't do that anymore.
No, I know.
Yeah. Bro, when the kids cry, when they lose, I love that. That's my favorite. Like, fucking cry about it.
Yeah, get
because
pissed
like
off.
You're that passionate about this pointless game, right? That's how we see everything. Everything is pointless to adults, but like for that kid, that's actually everything. And that like I love, like I want to go in the fucking podcast and I'm gonna fucking kill this podcast, bro. I'm gonna with this, like, bro, like fire me up, bro. And if I don't do good, I want to cry about it. I'm like, I fucked this shit up, bro. Like, why the fuck did be like passion? That's passion, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time in your life that you gave something your everything, bro? Everything on the table. I gave this my everything, bro.
Yeah.
The universe never, it always, bro, you get rewarded.
Yeah.
People don't get rewarded. They don't give anything to everything is whatever.
Yeah, if you half-ass everything, you don't get shit for that.
Like, I love when you said, bro, I gave my fucking career, I left everything on that table and that's it.
That was it.
Now you don't need to look back or do anything about it because you did that.
I never have.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I feel really proud of that.
Yeah,
dude.
that is what an amazing.
Like people have asked me that all the time.
Yeah.
Would you want to go back out? I'm like, dude, no. I gave it everything, dude. I broke myself doing that. I nearly killed myself doing that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great example of how you should approach your life.
Yeah.
Everything in your life.
We need more urgency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More passion.
Yeah. I'm going to give my family the best dad, best husband every fucking moment.
Yeah, dude.
I will not let them down.
Nobody's going to look back and go, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
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 You're going to go, man, that was a life well lived, bro. Yeah. I think imagine everything we're talking about where, society as a whole is at kind of the tone. Nothing matters. Okay, who cares? Like, dude, what if you just turned up the passion 25%? Just turn it up, dude. A quarter. Turn it up. Bring a little more passion. Get fucking fired up, dude. You're going out into the world. Be a light. Be a fucking blazing fire. People feel that shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, people feel it. You don't even have to say anything.
Law of attraction.
Yeah, you walk into a room, people are like, whoa, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
That person is like beaming energy. And
this is the easiest time to shine.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody's so dim.
It is.
Zombied out.
I know.
Yeah, fogged up. You can shine bright, bro.
I know, man. It's true.
I love you, brother.
I love you, brother. Yeah, it's super fun, man.
What an epic talk.
Dude, anytime you feel, lost, disconnected, lonely, hit me up. Let's hang out. I'd love to do that. Go on a hike, we'll get a lift in, just go eat some lunch, hang out, be bros. Please, I'll do the same when I'm here.
All right.
Yeah. Awesome, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.